Let's talk your health and wellness podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Your Health and Wellness Matters. This is our last podcast of 2025, and really what we're talking about is holiday tips for the holidays, health and wellness holiday tips for the holidays, and we're really excited that we can actually be coming to you and just giving you some ideas in terms of what you should be looking out for and sort of how you can plan for your holidays and perhaps going into the next year as well. 2024, I think I may have said 2025, but it's actually the last show, 2024. We already have 2025 on our minds, but we'll talk a bit about that also in terms of planning for the next year. And it's really great this evening that just to welcome all the guests we've actually had for the last few months on our show. Brian, Mark, and Mark, welcome. Nice to have you here. And look forward to hearing from you guys in terms of your thoughts in terms of health and wellness tips for the upcoming holidays. So I think, Brian, let's maybe kick off from your side in terms of your perspective, your thoughts, your ideas. We're going into a holiday season, or we've already started our holiday season, and what we should be looking out for in terms of planning our health and wellness, and maybe some ideas for 2025.
Well, my tips are basically that will carry you through the Christmas season and also the holiday season into the new year, and could carry you right through the year very healthily. As South Africans, we're all known for our bright place, rugby, sunny skies. We can drop the Chevrolet. I think Ford Raptor's taken that market now. So my tips for the people are looking at that alone. Sunny skies. Get out and about with your family. Go for walks. Enjoy the beach. Get around barefoot. Get your electromagnetic field balanced by doing the barefoot walking. And just enjoy yourself, relax, unwind. The year that was past has been tough on everybody, and it's just time to get that mindset right and ready for the new year. And then the eating part of it, South Africans are known for their braai place. Nothing wrong with that. Along with your braai, try and get some nice fiber in as well. Try large brown mushrooms with some garlic butter in them on the coals, some corn, some green peppers, make some chili poppers, everything great on the fire, everything very healthy. Salads, look at seasonal fruits and veg in your salad. That will also help balance out. And get your rest in. And with the weather that we do have with the heat, make sure you carry along water with you. Hydration, extremely important. Try and get at least 8 cups of water in a day. And basically that should give you a very good balance. You're getting a bit of fitness in, you're getting good health and nutrition in, and you're getting the mental benefits and the rest. All good.
Brian, yeah, I mean, very interesting, and obviously people go into their holidays and they try and say, well, can I make a bit of a change or can I make a bit of shift in terms of, and maybe coming from your side, because I know you also look at the meditation and maybe the more holistic type of exercise, etc. Do you have some ideas for our listeners in terms of what they can try differently, maybe in the holiday season, if they're at the coast or at the beach? How do they use it to their maximum effectiveness in terms of maybe, changing that exercise routine?
Well, during the holidays, we normally run a program with youngsters on the beach. Running on the beach, excellent resistance training. Doing ins and outs into the water. Also, that bit of extra resistance for the muscles, especially leg muscles, good cardio. And water and the sand beneath you, those are all very, very balancing on the mind. If you are not a person that is super active, sitting, looking at the waves, they do have a very, very calming effect. The sound, the repetition, the rhythm of them, they do all help the body, because if you really listen to the waves and the surroundings around you, they actually do have an effect on the rhythm of your heart and the way you're thinking. And that just slows everything down and brings it back into balance again. And then when it comes to the eating, don't overindulge. Yes, enjoy yourself, but start practicing mindful eating. Instead of gulping down food in large quantities, eat slowly, chew the food, appreciate the flavors. And that also goes a long way. If you do it that way, you're actually getting in far less calories because you are eating less.
Mm-hmm. How would you? Are there sort of vitamins that we maybe miss, vitamins and minerals that we sort of maybe miss during the year? We're running our hard work routines, our office jobs, etc. Are there any ways sort of to increase our supplementation naturally over the holiday period?
Um, the very best way, and South Africans are quite blessed with that, because of the variety and the mild climate that we do have. We have a large variety of fruit and vegetables that are in season, and all of those are packed with everything that you require. Eat everything in balance. Make sure that you are eating your meats. And I know everybody's going to try and shoot me for this, but the fat on the meat, when you're doing it over the barbecue, there is absolutely nothing wrong. Enjoy it. Those saturated fats are actually required by the body. Cholesterol is vital for the body, especially when it comes to forming nerve connections within the brain. It is very, very important.
And Brian, are there other areas that you think would be sort of impactful in terms of your holistic health that people may not have time to actually look at during the year?
The most important one, I think, would be rest. Get sleep in. A good 7, 8 hours, 9 hours sleep in. Enjoy it. During the year, we have very disrupted sleep, especially with the very busy work schedules that we do have. I know the holiday season as well is also, people are going out into a party mood and they're having a lot of alcohol. Just remember, when you're using a lot of alcohol, the liver stress and then also the effects of the body's ability to absorb certain vitamins and mineral gets reduced by alcohol. So you're actually pushing your body into a deficiency. So take it easy, take a calm, and just enjoy.
Brian, do you see a sort of with holiday season, people maybe go less to gyms or more to gyms? And what would your advice be? Now that the coast, they may be out of their normal routine, they maybe not have their usual memberships. Sort of, what do you see in terms of the trend?
We quite fortunate in the coastal regions with the school holidays. Youngsters are bored at home quite easily, and if they're not going away on holidays, they all attend gym. So the main thing on the coastal regions that we find at the one gym I work and the one at Jeffreys Bay becomes extremely busy. And the only thing that varies in the city gym in Port Elizabeth is that the time slots will change where you have more activity, whereas we used to be super busy in the evenings. Now with people being on holidays, it's right throughout the day. There's a constant flow. And then if you are not going to be attending gym and if you are going away somewhere, instead of getting in your car and driving right up to the doorstep of something, park a few more meters away and take a walk. Use the stairs, not an elevator. It's small basic things, but being out in the open is important. Your dosage on your vitamin C, the red light that is coming through, your circadian rhythms are being rebalanced during that period. So very, very nice time just to get the good balance going again.
Brian Kitching, thanks so much for that input. If you can hang around a bit, that's great to give some input as we get some comments from our guests. But I do know that you are quite time pressed with your busy routine. So if you do have to leave, just to say thanks very much and thanks for your input on our podcast over the last few months. And looking forward to doing some more episodes with you next year.
Okay, thanks a lot. And I want to wish all of you, the team that we've been having a chat with, the team that I work with, all the listeners, a very blessed and Merry Christmas and an awesome new year. The year ahead, a lot of challenges coming up, but it's going to be great.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, me.
So we left with Mike Huse and Mark Bates, who've also joined me in a couple of episodes through the last few months. Mark, I think we'll kick off with you. Just and I'm sure you've given a bit of thought as well. And it may seem obvious, some of the comments that we're saying, but I think people, the key thing is to be mindful about the holiday season and use it, obviously, to the best effect for health and wellness. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe my opinion is going to be a little bit controversial, but I think, this time of the year, it's a really good time for people to maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit, and realize that experiences and memories and all those kind of things are extremely important for you. And to do those things, sometimes, you've got to socialize and you've got to partake in a few things that maybe aren't the best for you. My best advice to people would be, when you are going to socialize and do things, try and maintain some kind of handle on what your diet looks like. So it doesn't mean don't eat the things you want. What I'm basically saying is eat the things that you want, but account for them. It's all good and well to go out and go to a braai and go to friends and socialize, but try and account for that in your day. Try and make the rest of your day as good as possible. Don't put a restriction on you, because when you put restrictions on yourself, I think it makes eating healthy extremely difficult. And I think people go into December with this kind of attitude of, I'm going to be around friends now and everything's going to fall apart, so I'm not going to eat anything bad and I'm not going to drink alcohol. And I just think that's not necessarily the right attitude to have. I think that you need to kind of figure out what your goals are for this December time. And I mean, we're quite far into December already, and it's only going to get a little bit more festive in the next kind of week or two.
Sure.
And just try and limit kind of your day to as best as you can, but don't put restrictions on yourself, because I think that kind of demonizes what this time is about, and that's not really the purpose of having memories and enjoying yourself. I think I would say people don't go to the gym as much in December as they are maybe, let's say, January, February, March, kind of around about that time. And I like to kind of take my foot off the regular gymming routine when I'm on leave personally, and I try and find like outdoor activities to do, just because it's a fun way to change things. And if you've got more time on your hand, I think that limits a lot of people in their week, is the time available to do things outdoor. Things like paddle that are becoming very popular, activities at the beach, anything like that is a real fun way to kind of make your exercising a little bit more exciting, without going to the gym. It also gives you a little bit of a breather from the gym. And sometimes that's a really nice thing. So when you go back in January, you've got a bit of renewed vigor to be there. I think people that are consistently gymming kind of see the same four walls every day for years in and years out. And sometimes it's fun to just keep active and do something different. So my best advice to people, and it kind of echoes what Brian said, is, mental health is an important thing. And I think that you get a lot of benefit from doing outdoor activities, getting exposed to the sun, spending time with friends. And if you are on leave, it's the right time to do those kind of things, and actively try and do that, because you'll thank yourself when you're done. A lot of times you don't feel like doing it, but once you've done it, you feel a whole lot better. So that's one of the key points for me.
Right.
Yeah, I think
just to talk on that, and sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said I think I echo a lot of what Brian said.
Right.
You can carry on with the question.
No. I was just thinking about that, because I suppose there are two ways to approach, and we also have Mark on the line. I'm interested to have his comments on it. But there are two ways to approach your holidays. You can see people, they'll either take the lazy way to holiday and say, well, they're just going to lie on a beach chair, eat unhealthy food, sit in the sun, and just relax and peace out, and they'll worry about all the issues in January. Or you can use it as sort of a healthy time and say, okay, I'm out of my routine, but I am going to use all the different situations to actually still focus on my health and monitor it, even if it's in a slightly different way, without being too pressurizing. And I suppose you see both. I mean, on the extremes, you'd have people in the middle, but certainly those are sort of the two views of holidays or vacations.
Yeah, I think you've got to use. I think if I were to break the year up, I'd say towards the end of the year would be the time that you try to use balance as much as possible, because through the beginning and middle of the year, I think most people are involved in their own lives and involved in the work that they're doing. It's very, very hard to create balance. And I think that balance is one of those things that if you want to kind of stay where you are, then balance becomes a really nice word to throw around. And I think a lot of people will probably argue with me. But if you want to see serious change, you've got to really kind of gravitate in one direction, and you've got to make some really important changes and decisions in your life regarding nutrition and workout and stuff like that. And if you're making those decisions throughout the year, then you're going to have beneficial results, and you're going to get to a place that you're happy. When I say balance in December, I mean, well, it's time to socialize. You've got free time. Some people are taking leave, and maybe it's time to just take off and kind of stay where you are. Maybe it's not the month that you need to go for improvements, but it shouldn't be a month that you're looking to kind of walk backwards, because that just makes January and February so much harder for you. So it just means that, like, let yourself enjoy a few things every day, but don't be ridiculous about it, because you're only fighting yourself. In January, you're going to have to work back everything that you kind of undid in December, and that's no fun for anyone or anyone serious about changing their health. So I think that if I had to define balance, I think December is the month of balance, where you mix good and bad. And when you want to really see results, then you've kind of got to shift that to 80% good, 20% bad. And that's really the balance of progression. Because if you can balance your life like that, then you're going to see results. But if you're doing 50-50, 50 good, 50 bad, you're just going to stay where you are. And that's not, I don't think that's anyone's role here, to go and work out really hard every day or eat a few meals that they're not super happy about and then not make any progress.
Yeah, and
Sure.
also just to jump in as well, I agree with you 100%, Mark. Balance is everything. And then Brian mentioned a word which is also really important, is mindfulness. You know what I mean? Just be mindful of what you're doing and what you're not doing. And then as soon as you're mindful of, okay, cool, I'm having an extra fatty lamb chop today. That's fine. Be mindful of it. Then just carry that over into the next day. Then just be like, okay, I'm going to have to dial back a bit here and dial back a bit there. So as long as you're aware and you're mindful of what you're doing, and you also, again, to allude back to what Mike was saying, it just depends on where you are and what your goals are, So, I mean, if you've been pretty consistent throughout the year and, you allow yourself this time, 2 weeks of taking your foot off the gas and just chilling a little bit isn't going to do a lot of damage. You know what I mean? So that's being mindful of where your balance is. But then if you are someone who's kind of been struggling throughout the year, and you kind of want to get yourself in prep mode for next year, then you've got to be mindful of what you're doing now, because if you have a really bad December, you're just setting yourself up badly for January. So it really depends where you are as well. And I love that word mindfulness, because it's so important to know where you are, what you want, and where you want to be coming out of December. You know what I mean? So I think I agree with Mike 100%. Take your foot off the gas a little bit. But depending where you are in your journey, also be aware of how much gas you can give and you can take. You know what I mean? Because you might actually have to pump the brakes.
Mark, I think that's a very important point. Don't lose sight of where you are sort of in your journey, even if you're taking the foot off the gas a bit. Just be mindful of where you want to, where what your direction is. As we always speak about, you're really on a direction in your health and wellness, and even though you might slow down a bit, don't forget what that direction is.
100% agree.
Mark, you had a couple of other suggestions or tips.
I think, again, Brian's covered a lot of things that I want to talk about. If you are by the coast, go to the beach, enjoy it. It's really important. It's got everything that you could possibly need to have a good mental state, to have a good mindset. It's going to keep you active. It's going to kind of fill a bit of void and time in your holidays with something that's fun. It's active no matter what you're doing. Even if you're lying in the sun, I promise you, like, it's better than sitting at home and lying on the couch. Walking is the most underrated form of exercise. So if you can get out once a day and just go for a really nice walk, it's good for the mind. It's really low impact on the body. It's good to burn calories. I don't think enough people realize how important or how beneficial walking can be. So if you can get out and go for a walk your dog, walk with your girlfriend, your partner, or just go for a walk by yourself. It's a really, really good form of exercise. I think alcohol, as Brian said, is one of those things that there's just no way around it. If you are intending to drink every day, then you're going to deal with the consequences of drinking every day. You're going to deal with lower testosterone as a man. You're going to deal with inability to uptake certain nutrients. You're going to deal with just the calories from alcohol. I don't know if anyone knows, but alcohol is the same calorie content as fat. So it's 9 calories per gram. So it's definitely, one of the more indulgent things to kind of deal with. So, if you can try and just limit that a little bit, or at least if you are having alcohol, try and stick to things that are light, that are a little bit lower in calories. It's definitely going to make a difference. I've had a lot of conversation with people, and since we're referencing South Africans, everyone likes their brandy here. And if you can just dilute that with a sugar-free, like a Coke Zero or Pepsi Max or something like that, it's going to make a huge difference to the amount of calories that you're taking in over the course of a night. So just remember that, because sometimes I see people that are trying to lose weight, but they'll have, full sugar Coke with brandy, and it's like, cool, you're going to have the brandy, I understand that, but the Coke is something you can make an active choice on, so maybe make a better choice there.
Sure. And I think in South Africa, I can only talk for South really. Alcohol is a big issue, right? And it is and we're not saying you have to totally abstain from it, but one should obviously, from a health perspective, also just watch that, right? And just
I think the holidays with alcohol it's like, I think it's the whole world thing. I think you'd agree that kind of everyone drinks a decent amount, especially around the festive time. I'm sure there's certain countries that are obviously limited based on religion and certain things like that. But for the most part, I think alcohol is probably one of the hardest driving factors in stopping people from reaching their health and fitness goals. So, yeah,
sure.
Something that you want to make a change, you have to regulate it in some sort of way.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. How would you, which I already wanted to ask you guys in terms of just because I understand from an exercise perspective, aerobic exercise, there we understand. You're on holiday, we know that you can run, walk, whatever it is in terms of your cardio, etc. But in terms of, you guys are gym guys, so we know that muscle weight, and we've spoken about it for the last couple of months as well, that obviously gym's not only about cardio, but it's also about building muscle weight and a muscular strength. Can you guys give some tips and ideas in terms of what that people who don't have access to the gym over the month, what's something that what they can do in that regard?
Mark, you want to field this one?
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm a huge advocate for calisthenics exercises in general. Again, it depends where you are in your journey, what your balance is, and what you're looking for. But if you are, for example, say like we've got Olympia guys like myself and Mike who do like to train, and you are away from a gym. When you start understanding calisthenics, you've got a gym wherever you're going. So you can just do basics. You can do your push-ups, you can do your squats, you can do your lunges, you can do your dips. You can do these anywhere. And the coolest thing, I know we keep banging on about being at the beach, but that's where the majority of us go, South Africans, for a holiday. So, you've got a playground wherever you are. So if that's what you want to do, if you want to keep your muscular tone over the holidays and you can't access a gym, just do some research on calisthenic workouts. If you are a gym goer and you gym frequently, you should understand it anyway. And it's really, really very simple, and you can literally do it wherever you are. And the cool thing with calisthenics as well is if you do it properly, it's 15 to 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So a couple hundred push-ups, a couple of hundred squats, a couple of hundred dips, a couple of hundred lunges, you are sweating and you are tired. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then if you want to really take that to the extreme, you tack on a run, and you're good to go. That's all you need. It's really that simple. Often with gym, we just overcomplicate our lives because we've got all the toys to play with. But at the end of it, it's really basal, So that would be my 2 cents with that regard to strength.
So natural fitness, just as you say, trying to just, as you say, natural type of workout, natural type of muscle strength building. And for people that have asked me, sort of, is it an issue that, let's say they've had an intense gym workout with muscular workout, say for half an hour, a couple of times a week? Is it an issue if for like 2 or 3 weeks that they don't go work out in their typical way? What would you guys say to that?
No, I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, your muscle doesn't know what you're doing at the gym. Your muscle understands strain. It understands fatigue. So if you're able to do
Right.
that, and if you're able to put it under fatigue, and able to put it under strain, you're going to be stimulating the muscle. So yes, obviously, if you're looking to grow and build muscle, then like overload in the gym is going to be a good way to do that. But there are plenty of ways to build muscle just by fatiguing a muscle and putting it under strain. So as Mark said, he's 100% correct. I truly believe that. I think myself and him, we do a lot of calisthenic workouts, and for me, I prefer calisthenic training in terms of functionality. Obviously, having a gym, as Mark said, just allows you to kind of do a little bit extra and do some other things. But calisthenics is always going to form the center base and foundation stone for any person that's looking to train, especially if you don't have a gym. Because as Mark said, you've got absolutely everything outdoors to do whatever you need to do. And I think, 3 weeks. I mean, if you went away and set up a little bit of a workout and a circuit for yourself every day and kind of just did a normal split and put some time in and effort in, you can maintain. If not, I mean, it depends on, if you're eating and everything's good, you could see results in those 3 weeks. I don't think we necessarily have to say like, oh, you might just maintain or lose a bit. Like, you could actually see some decent results if you put some effort in.
I think that's a brilliant message for our listeners, right? And I think exactly, I mean, we've said, yes, you can maintain, but as you said, you actually could potentially come back fitter and stronger than when you left, even though you're not in your sort of your natural routine and you're not doing your natural gym type of workouts. I think that's a brilliant message.
Yeah, and
I think maybe some people should. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, and also, your muscles like to be shocked. They like to be hit something different. So, I mean, you could be, you could be a guy hitting the gym 24/7 and like being a little bit of a plateau. And you might find taking a 3-week break away from the gym and then just hitting some calisthenics might actually sort of just spark something in your muscles because it's something different. You know what I mean? Muscles get used to the same amount or the same stimulus. And I do agree with Mark. A muscle only knows strain. But if you are in that routine of doing bench press on a Monday and you've been doing that for like a year, your body's also very clever. It gets attuned to that. So now if you all of a sudden start doing push-ups almost on the daily, your chest and your triceps and all those muscles and your shoulders that are activated are going to be like, oh, what's this? This is new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100% agree. I mean, you could come out of that holiday with like, you're not going to be completely different, but you could stimulate something that might have been a bit dormant or something, So, yeah,
Sure.
I definitely agree.
So I think we've spoken about exercise, cardio, and muscular workout. And I think you guys have given some great tips there. We've spoken about diet. Is there anything we've missed on diet that we can perhaps listen to, give, or other ideas that you guys maybe had in terms of notes or comments that you'd like to give our listeners as well? Mark, let's start with you.
I think on my last note, unfortunately, I have to run. I think my last note in terms of diet is just don't punish yourself for having something bad. I think that what we do a lot is we kind of get really into our heads and then we're very guilty about something that we had because we're not used to doing it in the year. And now we're giving ourselves a break. And it's really terrible to sour a memory of like maybe a good social time or friends and that kind of stuff because you had something that you don't usually had and now you feel guilty about it. I really think that, if you're going to make a choice to do something, then enjoy it and enjoy all of it and know that like nothing in your body is cemented in time. You can make changes any single day, any week that you want to. So when you have something that you maybe feel like you shouldn't have, just enjoy it and enjoy the time and enjoy the experience that you get from it. And yes, it's okay to be mindful of everything. I agree about that, but be mindful that you're choosing to have the nice meal and a few drinks with friends, and you're choosing to have that experience and a good time with them. Don't beat yourself up about it because, it's just not worth it.
Agree 100%.
Mark, thanks. I think brilliant point. Mike Huse, thanks so much. And thanks for all your input through the last few months, and look forward to doing some podcasts in 2025 with you on health and wellness and just have a great holiday season. Thanks for your input and comments.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. I really enjoyed being on the podcast with you. Thanks, Mark, and all the other people that have joined. Thank you to Ane, our producer, who's behind the scenes and does a lot of work. Wish you guys the very Merry Christmas and a great New Year, and excited for 2025 and what we bring to the podcast. It's been a lot of fun.
Cheers, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Mark, I think it's you and I left on the podcast. A couple of points that I just wanted to cover with you. I mean, we've spoken about exercise, we've spoken about diet. just in terms of mental wellness, I think I just have it down on my list of actually advice and points to do. Do you have any? I think it might be something that's sort of neglected, and I think
Yeah.
we know that obviously it's been a stressful year. Seems that anxiety is increasing across the world, particularly South Africa as well. Do you have any ideas, thoughts, or input that you'd like to give over?
For sure. This actually kind of segues perfectly into my sort of my perspective on how I would like our listeners to take in this Christmas holiday. So what I want to talk about is recapturing the spirit of a Christmas holiday. And what I mean by that is, when I think about Christmas holidays, I think about I think about going back to my inner child. You know what I mean? Being
Sure.
being 9 years old, waking up early, making the most of the day. You know what I mean? Like, just
Yes.
waking up with that excitement and, running around the garden, playing games with my cousins and my friends and whoever was around in the neighborhood, riding bikes, just being out in the sunshine and just being out with your family and your friends. I think what happens a lot of times, what we do is, we put ourselves in a box for the holidays, and we like, we have to do this, we have to do that, and blah, blah, blah. But we kind of just forget about the essence, what a holiday really is. And that's just about being with family, being with friends, unplugging from the world a little bit, and just relaxing. And what that means, it doesn't mean lying on the couch and doing absolutely nothing. So what I mean by this is, I would like to challenge our listeners to bring that spirit back. Like, break away from your regimented routines. Just get outdoors, set up a family game of cricket, family game of soccer. You know what I mean? Get outdoors, play around,
Exactly.
jump in the pool, play Marco Polo, and just really enjoy people's company. Because what you're doing when you're playing outside, or when you're just doing these kind of things, you're also building connections again. Often we lose sight of the connections that we have with our family and our friends because of our busy lifestyles, and we don't get to do this type of stuff. You know what I mean? But playing a silly game, imagine a bunch of like 25, 30, 40-year-olds playing a game of Marco Polo in the pool with the kids. That's a joy, man. And that's good times.
Sure.
And I think what we often don't think about is how much fun we're actually having doing it. And then just to be a bit boring and talk about calories and this type of thing. That if you were to swim around in a pool for an hour with the kids, it's going to be high volume. You're going to burn up to 400 to 500 calories. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then not only that, is you're smiling, you're laughing, you're taking in vitamin D, you're rebuilding connections, you're rebuilding relationships. And I think that's kind of what I'm preaching with regards to the Christmas holidays this year, is take a break from the routines, unplug, try as much as you can. I know it's really difficult in this day and age, but really sit down with your kids or your family and say, let's unplug our phones for an hour or two. Let's just leave them inside. Let's go outside. Let's do something. Let's play. We are lucky enough to have beaches that go for miles and miles, so we can go play on the beach. We can be out there, and we can just really, really, really reconnect with our family and our friends. And I think that kind of does
that's
segue
a brilliant
into
point.
Yeah.
No,
And that does
exactly.
segue.
I actually had
Hmm?
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that does segue into the mental health part of it. So I'm really sort of
Yes.
preaching more from a holistic sort of like wholesomeness. You know what I mean? Like really wholesome, just connections, like human connections that become really important. And then all of the other stuff becomes, just sort of secondary,
Sure.
but it does happen. You're outdoors, you're getting your vitamins, you're burning calories, and you're doing it so holistic. You know what I mean?
No, I think you hit the nail on there. I mean, one of my points was here to connect with your loved ones. The holidays are a
Yes.
perfect opportunity to spend quality time with friends and family, which can uplift your spirits and improve your mental health. I think you said all that perfectly, and that's exactly it. And I think you hit, as I said, the nail on the head there. Connecting with loved ones actually has a huge benefit on health, wellness, mental wellness, etc. Many parts of your health and well-being. And I think exactly right. Go back to basics and enjoy your time.
Definitely, and it doesn't take much. I mean, it just takes a little bit of planning, as a family or even friends. If a lot of friends get together and go on holiday now over the time, and just do some crazy stuff. Like say to say to your group of friends, cool, we're going to braai and we're going to do, we're going to have a few drinks. We're going to do all that adult stuff. But, at the same time, we're going to go back to being kids. We're going to have water balloon fights. We're going to, we're going to play hide and seek, and we're going to do all this type of stuff. So you can plan these games. Again, I think unplugging is an important one. Set time throughout the day where there's no devices, no TV, no nothing. I know that's difficult for a lot of families. But I think if you set it up well enough and you keep the kids engaged enough, I think it can definitely work. And then also include everyone. Try and make sure that the activity that you're planning, include everyone. Like, not everyone can go climbing a mountain and then abseiling down the mountain. You know what I mean? So try and include everyone. Play games that are inclusive of everyone. And then just soak up not only the sunshine, but soak up each other's company. And I think that if you can do that, and then also keep all the other points that we've spoken about, you'll walk into January ready to go and just feeling like a much better person, I think.
So I think that goes into my last point. I mean, we've spoken about planning, diet. We've spoken about exercise, sleep, keeping moving, sun protection, managing stress, connecting with loved ones, limiting alcoholic beverages, etc. And the last one, as you said, going into use the time maybe to reflect and plan. Think about what your health goals have been for the past year, whatever you achieved. I know we all say New Year's resolutions, they last probably about the first week and then drop out the window. But I think what one should realize is that it's a year, right? So we're not running a sprint here, we're doing a marathon. And sort of maybe just be mindful about your year ahead. Any tips on that in terms of how people should maybe plan for the upcoming 2025?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's also what we spoke about earlier with Brian and Mike, just that mindfulness of where you are, and everyone. And I think being honest with yourself is also a very important thing. Being honest with how the year went, with regards to your health and fitness, and then being honest with yourself and going, okay, this year, this is what I need to tweak. And this is what I need to work on. So say, for example, you were very good on the exercise side of things, but you might not have been that great on the diet. And you've got to be mindful of creating that balance, Also, just while I'm on the topic, I think January is a very dangerous time to try set up your goals. Just because January is always chaos. You have to be, you've come out of the holidays, you go straight back into work. It's a bit of a shock and a bit of a shift. So use December to relax and slowly start planning, and then let January be the stepping stones into the year. And then from February, that's when you put your foot down and that's when you put the hammer down. So that's just my personal advice. I see a lot of people set themselves up for failure in January. You come straight out of a holiday and you've got all these best laid plans and they just fall completely flat. And then that completely wrecks the rest of the year. Give yourself that little January buffer to slowly but surely try to build those good habits. And then by February and March, you're in the swing of things. You know what I mean? So that's really my simplistic guide to that. Enjoy December. Be mindful of where you are. Be mindful of what you want from it. Set yourself up for January to start really accelerating your year from February.
Mark, that's amazing input and advice. I mean, I would like to leave our list, and thanks for that, hey, Mark Bates. You've just been amazing, and thanks for all the shows we've done, and look forward to many next year. I think you always bring an interesting spin and ideas, and I think your input has been really useful. Sort of from a health, I mean, it would be remiss of me not to give some medical advice and some thoughts to individuals. And what I would say in terms of planning for 2025 is, and I always like our listeners to come out with some piece of something that they can think about in the to-dos. I would say 2025 should be a year for screening. I think it's something that's really neglected. I think it can have a big impact on one's health. And I just don't think we take it really seriously enough. And I've seen many patients they haven't screened adequately. And because of that, they've suffered both from the chronic diseases, which could have been much more effectively managed, and some really serious diseases and cancers, etc. Having not picked it up in time, So I would like to say to our listeners, let's And as you said, it doesn't have to be January, because January, and then you get hit by all the medical aids, go for your screening, etc., etc. But just make a plan for yourself through the year and say, this is going to be my year for screening. These are the markers that I want to check, and this is what I want to work on. And I think if our listeners can just be mindful of that and take that as a goal, and then hopefully in a year's time they can tick off and they can say to the team here, yes, I actually did that. I actually monitored my health and I screened for what I needed to do. I think things can be. I think it can be a great year. So it's basically from your guys' side, it's the exercise, it's the wellness, etc. But also from the medical side, there's some input and thoughts around that.
Agreed. Awesome. And just before we sign off, I just want to say thank you to all the listeners for listening. Have a great holiday. Spend time with each other, care for each other, look after each other, and we'll see you in 2025, ready to give you some more tips and guide you through the minefield that is fitness and health. But we
Exactly. And I do want to thank our producers, but there is another person I really want to thank, and that's our producer, and who's actually just been really amazing and just always there and run the show and put it together and just done such an amazing job. And we're already grateful to you. And hopefully we can continue many more podcasts. I don't know if you want to come say hi to our listeners for a second, or you'd rather remain offline.
Now, what we'll do next year, Doc, is we'll include her in our first episode next year. We'll be like, there she is.
Exactly. And even us, Ace, thanks so much, and thanks so much for all the time and production and all the efforts you really put together the great show. So thanks so much.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great festive season. Hope you take all the tips to heart. Look after yourselves, and we look forward to 2025, where we'll continue our Let's Talk Health and Wellness and bring you the best and ideas and all topics and latest information, health and wellness. Have a great festive season, and see you next year. Cheers,
everyone.
Let's talk